In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said He would send plagues upon the earth before He frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today and call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K Jamaica. Shalom. Shalom, Israel. Shalom, Hebrew. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, 1969, and is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA, man with the rank and the authority to be the leader of the nation at this time, of the nation of Israel at this time. I want to say Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Barakatam to my brothers, Yahweh Shama Ailatan Ba'asham Yahweh to my sisters. Welcome to our Tuesday evening law class. All right, now we're looking at law of redemption. Redemption is a law in our Bible, you know. You have heard before where they say, Christ is our Redeemer. Christ come to redeem us. Yes, but what you realize, Christ don't do anything outside of the law that was given to us, Israelites. It's only the Christian church try to tell you that the laws are outdated. Muslim copied. The Jewish man copied, and Christians will tell you that laws, but redemption is a law. Redemption is one of our laws. All right, we're looking at we're going on the book of Ruth. So much of it we can read through. We can finish it. Hopefully we finish it in this class. All right. Book of Ruth, chapter 1.
Canada one cancer.
If you want the Bible, you can use that. Ruth chapter 1 and 1.
Canada one can. This is the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man, best Lehem Judah, Salakia, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons.
All right, so in the book of Ruth, this man went to sojourn from Bethlehem, Judah. He was a Judite. He went to sojourn in among the Moabites because there was famine in his country. Famine was in the land of Canaan, in the land of Israel. Now, you find that from the time of the judges, because we did not have been breaking the laws of the Most High. We did not rid the land of the people that was there. We did not keep the laws that were given. So the Most High applied the covenant. And the rule of the covenant is if you break the law, then one of the rules says he will scatter you. All right. Where we find that again? Deuteronomy 28. Let's see what verse. Blah, 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 blah. All right, let's see if we can see we can't find it in our nation of fierce county lands, therefore serve the servants, blah, blah, blah. Stranger that is in the tree, blah, 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 blah. All right, then Deuteronomy 28. All that are in Deuteronomy 28.
Got another one, cancer.
All right, so I'm telling you verse 1.
Yeah, man.
Deuteronomy 28:64.
Got another one, can. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
All right, so just remember that the Most High said that he will scatter thee among all people. So one of the things that he used to scatter us is two things really drive you up from where you're living. War is one, famine the other. The other thing is sometimes you decide to migrate. But if him said that he will scatter you, then it means that he's going to send war upon you, or he's going to send famine upon you. Now, right in the time of Ruth, what he sent upon the nation then was famine. And it forced this man and his wife to go into the land of Moab. Go into the land of Moab because of a famine. He, his wife, his two sons. All right, continue.
Another one, cancer. Verse 2. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his two sons Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah. And they came into the country of Moab and continued there.
So they came into Moab. So they went to live among the Chinese. Then they were called Moabites. They were living around that region, more to the side of Jordan, I think, before they migrated to where they are now. Verse 3.
Another one can. Verse 3. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left, and her two sons.
Continue.
Another one can. Verse 4. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. The name of the one was Arpa, and the name of the other Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years.
All right. So they went into Moab. This was the nation that was around the Israelites at the time. Two sons died. The husband died. So, but the two sons had two. Oh, the husband died first. The two sons left. The two sons take wives from that land. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 5. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them. And the woman was left of her two sons and her husband. Verse 6. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law that she might return from the country of Moab. For she had heard in the country of Moab how the Lord had visited his people in giving them bread.
7.
Another one can. Verse 7. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her two daughters-in-law with her, and they went up, Salakia, went on the way to return unto the land of Judah.
Right. So they were from the land of Judah. They were Judites. So they hear that, boy, rainfall, crops start grow again, so we can go back home. They spent 10 years in Moab. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 8. And Naomi said unto her two daughters-in-law, Go, return each to her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you, as he have dealt with the dead and with me.
All right, so she was sending them on their way, sending them back to their land that they were born in. But she was also giving them a blessing. May the Lord deal kindly with you, as he has dealt with me and with your husbands and my 9.
Another one can. Verse 9. The Lord grant you that ye may find rest, each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept.
Verse 10.
Verse 10. And they said unto her, surely we will return with thee unto thy people. Verse 11. And Naomi said, turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb that they may be your husbands?
All right, so she was telling them that what they did not want to leave. He's saying, go on, man, because what they think any more sons in my womb for me to have any more children, because she was now aged. So she was saying that no more sons not in my womb that is become your husband. Also, continue.
Another one can. Slakia. Verse 12. Turn again, my daughters, go your way, for I am too old to have an husband. If I should say I have hope, if I should have an husband also tonight, and should also bear sons.
Right. Me too old for have a husband, but suppose me if you have a husband tonight, and I should bear sons. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 13. Would ye tarry for them till they were grown? Would ye stay for them from having husband? Nay, my daughter, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me.
All right. So even if I should have sons, you're not going to, you can't stay around and grow big enough to be your husband. Right? It grieved me, said it, the hand of the Lord has gone out against me. So go on your ways. Go back to your land. Find another husband. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 14. And they lifted up their voice. Cancer. Verse 14.
Right.
Verse 14. Cancer. And they lifted up their voice and wept again. And Arpa kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her.
Right. Harper turned back, but Ruth says she not going back. 15.
Another one can. Verse 15. And she said, behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law.
Right. So your sister-in-law has gone onto her gods. Gone back to her land, to her people, to her gods. That's the god of the Moabites. What's the name? What was there the god again? The Moabite god.
Buddha.
What was the Moabite god name again?
Buddha.
No, not Boaz. Chemosh.
Okay.
It was Chemosh. But whatever his name was, it wasn't Yahweh. Now, Ruth, because of famine, they had to go into another land, find wife for their son, which did not serve Yahweh. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 16. And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God.
All right, this is one verse that is famous among the Christian churches. Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. This is an example, good example of loyalty. She did not want. She said, "Yeah, man, use my mother-in-law. I'm not leaving. I staying with you. Where I go, I go into." But we learn this in the church. But none of the nations who taught us this never treat us this way at all, at all. They didn't make us. They didn't make us, what I said, like their people. What Ruth was telling Naomi is that whatever we have, we're going to share. That if there were men who would say brotherhood, but sisterhood is just as good as brotherhood, are just as strong as brotherhood. Now, good lesson here beginning now with Ruth. Continue. 17.
Verse 17. Where thou diest, will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me.
All right. Continue, man. Continue. Reading it off.
Verse 18. When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, then she left speaking unto her. Verse 19. So they two went till they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass, when they were come to Bethlehem, that all the city was moved about them. And they said, Is this Naomi?
All right, continue.
Verse 20. And she said unto them, Call me not Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me.
Go on.
Verse 21. I went out full, and the Lord has brought me home again empty. Why then call ye me Naomi, seeing the Lord has testified against me, and the Almighty has afflicted me?
All right, so
verse 22. Naomi returned.
Naomi went home, stick up in. Naomi went home. People were glad to see her in her community, in her district, in Bethlehem. They were happy to see that Naomi has returned. But Naomi was saying, the Lord has dealt bitterly with me. So call me Mara, don't call me Naomi. Because she went out with a husband and two sons, and she came back with neither. She came back with neither, with either of the sons or the husband. They died. But this was also the formation of the beginning of the formation of a very important storyline in our nation of Israel. 22.
Verse 22. So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of barley harvest.
So they reached back at Bethlehem harvest time, so that was springtime. It would have been a little later than now. Crops come in. All right. Ruth chapter 2.
Canada one can. This is the book of Ruth, chapter 2 and 1. And Naomi had a kinsman of her husbands, a mighty man of wealth of the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz.
What? Elimelech had a wealthy family member whose name was Boaz. Now, like that. All right, come back.
Yeah, that come through choppy still, so maybe the internet signal kind of fluctuate, you know.
I know the internet, you know. It looks like it was the computer.
But the computer shut off?
I know shut off, but it went blank and I don't understand. It up back now, you know.
Okay. Alright. So you reconnect back now?
I'm trying to. I'm not going to
Alright, so the computer the reboot?
No, it boot up.
The StreamYard?
Yeah.
Alright, me see you just come back. Yes, you just go out and come back in. But me I see a blank, me I see a white circle.
I wonder because I'm seeing so talking about that. Come on. All right, continue.
Alright. Salakia, sir. I still not see your screen.
Come again?
Still not see your screen.
Show man.
Sure? Alright, maybe
Yeah.
I need it. Alright.
What we hear?
Yeah, hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the verse 2, and Ruth, the Moabitess, said unto Naomi, let me now go to the field and glean ears of corn after him, in whose sight I shall find grace. And she said unto her, go, my daughter.
All right, so Yeah, first one. Yeah, man. I'm here. You know, I'm online. Yeah, man. I'm here.
Yeah, and I'm say your screen alone. I see that.
I don't know, but me online. I'm online.
Stream. Yeah, me I see you. But me now I see you on stream yard, sir. I refresh my thing. Come on, see.
All right, so I'll continue reading. Just come on back. All right, so verse 2, and Ruth the Moabitess said unto Naomi, let me now go to the field and glean ears of corn after him in whose sight I shall find grace. And she said unto her, go, my daughter. So they understand the kinsman redeemer. They understand that they Ruth saw a relative of her. All right, you mute your mic.
Cancer, me mute it for you and get no feedback through the thing.
Okay. So Ruth and Naomi had a kinsman, her husband's kinsman of her husband, a mighty man of wealth. The kinsman, what the kinsman signify, you can Google that word kinsman.
Cancer.
Find it.
Cancer. Even if you don't know your second cousin very well, he's still your kinsman. The known kinsman can refer to any blood relative or ancestor, especially those who are male. You can also use kinswoman to talk about female relative.
All right, so a kinsman is your close relative, right?
Gone.
Right. Now, in our law, it talk about the kinsman. The kinsman can redeem your property, and redeem a person out of slavery.
Gone.
Here, their roots now Naomi identify a kinsman who was a relative of her husband. Wasn't a relative unto Ruth, but of course, that kinsman could be Ruth's husband. Read on, and let's see where it goes.
Canada one can. Verse 3, and she went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers. And Slakia, and her hap was to light on a part of the field belonging unto Boaz, who was of the kindred of Elimelech.
Right. Elimelech, if you remember, was Naomi's husband. So he was a relative to Elimelech.
Another one can, verse 4. And behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem and said unto the reapers, the Lord be with you. And they answered him, the Lord bless thee. Verse 5. Then said Boaz unto his servants that was set over the reapers, whose damsel is this?
All right. So Boaz came to this field and greeted his workers. Shalom. Today we would say peace, or meaning that the Lord be with you. And they responded to him. And then he saw this beautiful lady in the field. So he wanted to know who this was. And he inquired about her. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 6. And the servant that was set over the reapers answered and said, it is the Moabitish damsel that came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab.
All right. All right. They start giving him answers as to who she is. Continue.
Another one can, verse 7. And she said, I pray you, let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves.
Continue.
Yeah, hear me, sir?
Continue.
Yeah, man. So she came and has continued even from the morning until now, that she tarried a little in the house.
One.
Verse 8. Then said Boaz unto Ruth, hearest thou not, O not to glean in another field, neither go from hence, but abide here fast by my maidens.
All right. So stay in this field, don't go into another field. Continue.
Another one can, verse 9. Let thine eyes be on the field that they do reap, and go thou after them. Have I not charged the young men that first go unto the vessels and drink of that which the young men have drawn?
All right. So she was gleaning with the maidens, and Boaz start to look out for her now. Continue.
Another one can, verse 10. Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground, and said unto him, why have I found grace in thine eyes, that thou shouldest take knowledge of me, seeing I am a stranger?
Right. But that's what she went there for. She went there that he may found grace. She may find grace in his eyes.
God.
So you see, this is a wonderful story about and our woman can, learn from this story. Our woman honorably look a man. You understand?
God.
Right, because she went there with the plan that him, I want him to see. He said to me, send me, man. Let me go in the field, that I might find grace in his eyes. Continue.
Another one can, verse 11. And Boaz answered and said unto her, it has fully been shewed me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husband, and how thou hast left thy father and thy mother and the land of thy nativity, and art come unto a people which thou knowest not heretofore.
Right. But Ruth wasn't a Moabite, you know.
Gone.
Continue. I think it is further down somewhere. Where it tell that she was a Moabitess woman, and it called her a Moabitish woman.
Gone.
Didn't call her a Moabite. Continue.
Another one can, verse 12. The Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust.
Go on.
Verse 13. Then she said, let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, for that thou hast comforted me, and for that thou hast spoken friendly unto thine handmaid, though I be not like unto one of thine handmaids. Verse 14. And Boaz said,
you treat me, basically she's saying, you know, you have been treating me, you're treating me good. Basically. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 14. And Boaz said unto her, at mealtime, come thou hither and eat of the bread, and dip thy morsel in the vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and he reached her parched corn, and he reached her parched corn, and she did eat, and was sufficed and left.
Right. Parched corn. You like parched corn?
Yeah, man.
Right. It's roast corn.
God.
So they had roast corn for lunch. Why? They were reaping corn.
God.
So why not just put a couple cobs of corn in the flame and roast it and have that for lunch? Well, maybe they have some, you know, the Judite. Here they said dip thy morsel in vinegar. You know, Judite until this they have a lot of sauce and things that they love to use. So maybe it was something like that they would put onto the corn.
Sauce, corn. Yeah.
Right. Start to spice it up.
Yeah.
But whatever it is was their fill. That was that.
Another one can. Verse 15. And when she was risen up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and reproach her not.
All right. So the gleaning did not go towards the owner of the field. You know. The gleaning goes towards the widow, the fatherless, and the poor.
God.
So she was there gleaning, and you know, saw her and like her. What him said to the young man? Verse what we at now?
We're at verse 17 now.
Right. Where he says in 16 he said, and let fall also some of the handfuls of purpose for her. So I said, make some of the good one fall, man, make she can get it. Well, see her and him like her.
God.
Nothing is wrong with that. And he had some wealth and was allowing her, because what was happening right here is law, where the gleaning of the field, because remember our law said the owner of the field should not glean the field, meaning strip it dry. Pick everything. You leave the gleaning for the widow, the fatherless, the poor. Continue.
Canada one can. Slakia was at verse 16. And let fall also some of the handfuls of purpose for her, and leave them, that she may glean them and rebuke her not. Verse 17. So she gleaned in the field until evening, and beat out that she had gleaned, and it was about an ephah of barley. Verse 18. And she took it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw what she had gleaned, and she brought forth and gave to her, Slaki, and gave to her that she had reserved after she was sufficed.
19.
Verse 19. And her mother-in-law said unto her, where hast thou gleaned today? And where wroughtest thou? Blessed be he that did take knowledge of thee. And she shewed her mother-in-law with whom she had wrought, and said, the man's name with whom I wrought today is Boaz. Verse 20.
So,
And Naomi,
in other words, it was barley harvest. So it wasn't one field that was being harvested. So Naomi asked her, so wait, is where you go glean today? Because gleaning was not, it wasn't something to really look down on, because it was law.
God.
So the owner of the field, by our law, could not take up that which fell to the ground, and could not strip the field totally dry. You know, you see what's today, any big field you see today, you know, if they're reaping and you're going in and you're going to it, you lock up.
Yeah, gone.
So, but in our time, it wasn't anything to frown upon.
God.
Ruth was a widow. Her husband had died. She was gleaning to survive as our law would have her to do, to survive as a widow. So she would glean for she and her mother-in-law. But she was getting more than would have been gleaned, because if you understand, gleaning with the maids, it wasn't she alone that was doing the gleaning. There were other people, other poor people was in there too. But Boaz tell the young man, say, all right, speak with him. Speak with him, move with her, make some drop of ground get extra. You understand? All right, continue reading.
Canada one can, verse 20. And Naomi said unto her daughter-in-law, blessed be he of the Lord, who has not left off his kindness to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said unto her, the man is near of kin unto us, one of our next kinsmen.
All right. So Naomi is telling this, so that this man is near of kin unto us, one of our kinsmen. Now, according to our law, anybody who understand our culture will understand what Naomi was saying, because this kinsman could redeem them.
God.
And later on, you will see how it goes. Continue.
Canada one can, verse 21. And Ruth the Moabitess said, he said unto me also, thou shalt keep fast by my young men until they have ended all my harvest.
Right. So I'm going to tell him to stick by me, man. Continue.
Canada one can, verse 22. And Naomi said unto Ruth, her daughter-in-law, it is good, my daughter, that thou go out with his maidens, that they meet thee not in any other field.
All right. Meaning, travel, move with the maidens, So that the maiden don't come and see you, can come and say, they see you and the man them out in the field. You know, to put doubt where there could be doubt to say, maybe she go lay down with one of them man there. You get me?
God.
Right. So she now, Naomi, in her wisdom, is telling her, move with the maidens. So the maidens will always can vouch for you, if needs be.
God.
Continue.
Another one can, verse 23. So she kept fast by the maidens of Boaz to glean unto the end of barley harvest and of wheat harvest, and dwell with her mother-in-law.
All right. So then glean right through the harvest time. So you know much things they get. Because every time she go home, Naomi and say, I will get some something. So from Boaz. All right. Chapter 3.
Another one can. Chapter 3, verse 1. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, My daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee?
All right. What is Naomi saying here to her, to Ruth? When he says, shall I not seek rest for thee? Meaning, shall I not set you up, man, give you a good man, so that you can, it may be well with you. Let's say it may be well with you in our language, meaning that, you know, you're serving God, God is blessing you, and you end up, you have wealth.
God.
You have wealth for generation. You understand? Because that is what she's saying. So that's why she tell her, stick with the maidens. Don't go with the young, don't go out in the field with the young man. Even though you're moving with behind the young men, stick with the rest of the women. Right? Glean with them. So that there is no doubt when that time come around, there'll be no doubt to say, well, maybe she has gone to sleep with one of these young men already or something.
Another one can, verse 2. And now is not Boaz of our kindred, with whose maidens thou wast? Behold, he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor.
All right. So what Boaz will be doing? So this is Naomi setting up Ruth the right way. He say, yo, he's going to work in the threshing floor tonight. When he said he winnoweth barley, meaning that is a process where they carry the barley through. We have a light draft of air, wind blowing, something like a fan. You probably would fall barley in front of it, and the things that is the impurities is supposed to blow out or cast out from the barley, right? When they're reaping in the field, a lot of other impurities get into it, but they have a way to get it out, and that is what they call the winnow. So he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor. Continue.
Another one can, verse 3. Wash thyself therefore, and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee, and get thee down to the floor. But make not thyself known unto the man, until he shall have done eating and drinking.
All right. Now, basically what was Naomi doing is teaching Ruth how to actually get a man. Getting a man without being a war. Get me? So you put yourself there in the man's eyes, but at the same time, you're not being a war. Because she is putting Ruth on her guard. First, him say, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? Then he said, no, he winnoweth barley tonight in the threshing floor. And then she said, wash yourself, anoint yourself, put on good clothes, go down there, but don't make him see you until he have done eating and drinking.
God.
That drinking is some wine he's going to drink. All right, verse 4.
Another one can, verse 4. It shall be when he lieth down that thou shalt mark the place where he shall lie, and thou shalt go in and uncover his feet and lay thee down, and he will tell thee what thou shalt do.
All right, verse 5.
Another one can, verse 5. And she said unto her, all that thou sayest unto me I will do.
6.
Verse 6. And she went down onto the floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law bade her.
Continue.
Verse 7. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn. And she came softly and uncovered his feet and laid her down.
All right, so she uncovers his feet and going to lay down, but she never sleep with him.
God.
He didn't even know that she was there. What she was doing was looking out for him, treating him good.
God.
Verse 8.
Another one can, verse 9. Slakia, verse 8. And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself, and behold, a woman laid at his feet.
Right. So midnight he find out Ruth in there with him, and him frightened. 9.
Another one can, verse 9. And he said, who art thou? And she
How
answered.
you? Him say, how you? And she said what?
And she said, Slakia, and she answered, I am Ruth, thine handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thine handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman.
All right. Cover me, let me sleep too. You're a near kinsman. 10.
Verse 10. And he said, blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast shewed more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich.
So you see, if she was following the young man, not going out in the field with the maiden, there could have doubt.
God.
But what Naomi taught her, there was no doubt.
God.
Yeah, what Boaz said, in as much as thou followest not young men, whether they rich or they poor. And a young man you like big man. That verse 11.
Another one can, verse 11. And now, my daughter, fear not. I will do to thee all that thou requirest, for all the city of my people does know that thou art a virtuous woman.
Right. So everybody in the city don't know, in Bethlehem knows so you're not war.
God.
I ain't not going to sleep around with every man. I ain't not sleep with more than one man. In fact,
God.
they know you don't have no man now.
God.
So, why, trust me, you can be a good wife for me. Continue.
Another one can, verse 12. And now it is true that I am thy near kinsman, albeit there is a kinsman nearer than I.
Right. So Boaz is saying, yeah, I am a kinsman, but you have a kinsman. In other words, he was saying, I am like your second cousin, but there is a first cousin. That is what the kinsman nearer than I is a richer blood. Near is a first cousin, and the third cousin,
God.
and the nearer one would have been a second or a first.
God.
All right. That's what he was explaining. But from the using the term kinsman, they know that that goes with a redeemer. Come on. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 13. Tarry this night, and it shall be in the morning that if he will perform unto thee the part of a kinsman, well, let him do the kinsman part. But if he will not do the part of a kinsman to thee, then will I do the part of a kinsman to thee. As the Lord liveth, lie down until the morning.
All right. So he's now saying, all right, if he is in nearer, you have a lot of farm, and you see next of kin,
Gone, yeah, gone, sir.
and the next of kin refer to what?
A close family member where them can
Right.
contact in case of an emergency or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next of kin, if you don't have no parents, who in the family they can contact?
Probably a brother or a sister.
Right. Sister or cousin or auntie or somebody.
God.
So here they are using the term kinsman.
God.
We look at the meaning and we see relative. We know it means one of them relative. But this is why it is important for us to, as it says in I think Isaiah, a beautiful garment, meaning that we should get into our culture, get back to our culture, right?
God.
So getting back into our culture and understanding the way how we do things, you will understand what when they are saying kinsman, what they are talking about. It's big business being discussed right here.
God.
Right? This is not just a discussion about yeah man, I have blood man. This is big business discussion. This
God.
is business marriage. The job of the kinsman is to redeem.
God.
All right, read on.
Another one can. Verse 14. And she laid at his feet until the morning, and she rose up before one could know another. And he said, let it not be known that a woman came into the floor.
Right, for more reasons than one. This is where you're preparing. This is where you're preparing food for to go and tell.
God.
If them know say one woman come lay down and pray, you can't tell them say you it one and have sex up there. Next thing now they don't want your barley to buy. That's one.
God.
Right? And two, it could be nice abroad now that wait, she done work.
God.
Right. So in any case, it going out spreading would not be so good. So I said, don't let anybody know that a woman was up here in the threshing floor. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 15. Also he said, bring the veil that thou hast upon thee, and hold it. And when she held it, he measured 6 measures of barley.
So he gave her some things, and okay.
She said,
measured 6 measures of barley and what?
Another one can. And laid it on her, and she went into the city.
Right, 16.
Another one can. Verse 16. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, who art thou, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done to her.
All right. But they didn't all done to her, meaning the discussions that they have and the barley that he gave or him cover up at her feet. But no hanky panky business was involved. Oh, you know that? apart from it, it didn't state it. Later on, you're able to deduce it from discussions. Continue.
Another one can.
Verse what, 16?
Verse 17. And she said, these 6 measures of barley gave he me.
Mm-hmm. For he said to me, go not empty unto thy mother-in-law. Verse 18. Then said she, sit still, my daughter, until thou know how the matter will fall. For the man will not be in rest until he have finished the thing this day. Don't bother go out to the field. Don't bother go where he is now. Sit still until him deal with what he said he would deal with. All right, chapter 4 now.
Another one can. This is the book of Ruth, chapter 4 and 1. Then went Boaz up to the gate and sat him down there. And behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, and to whom he said, oh, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down.
Right.
Verse 2. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit ye down here. And they sat down.
Right.
Verse 3. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother Elimelech's.
Right.
Verse 4. And I thought to advise thee, saying, buy it before
advertise.
Okay, Salakia. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, buy it before the inhabitants, thy people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me that I may know. For there is none to redeem it besides thee, and I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it.
All right. So, all right. This is now the kinsman. The kinsman that was closer related to Naomi and Boaz. So closer related to Elimelech, brother, who was the husband of Naomi.
God.
So they now was supposed to redeem the property, because remember how the law goes. Well, he had 2 sons, but the 2 sons dead. So basically, Elimelech property doesn't have any heir. Here, it have an owner. Naomi and Ruth is on it, but after them, there's no heir.
God.
But even if you go and marry another person, then that other man who they would marry, that is the property that they would have to be on. You understand?
God. Yeah, man.
But him now, Boaz now take liking unto Ruth. So it's in his interest to redeem the property that was Elimelech's, so that the 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, their portion, their inheritance can come back. She can get the inheritance of her husband, because the land was sold before they leave to go to Moab.
Okay, yeah. God.
So that Redeemer, I will redeem it. All right, 5.
God. Verse 5. Then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the land of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance.
Right, there it is. Raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. So, Maria and Gera picnic. 6.
Verse 6. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it.
So, him say, boy, but me can't go redeem it. So, there are some complications around him redeeming it. Maybe he married and have some picnic. You understand? So, he probably have a firstborn already. Who knows?
Salakia, sir. Could that be him just selfish?
This is a business that go on here, so you know, if you don't have the money, you don't have the money.
Okay.
He said, I cannot redeem it for myself, least I mar mine own inheritance.
Okay.
Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it.
Okay. Verse 7.
This is big business. And a matter of fact, those who have our culture and custom who have taken our identity, it's the same thing they do. You call it intermarriage.
God.
Right, continue.
Another one can. Now this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing, for to confirm all things. A man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Israel.
Right, continue.
Verse 8. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe. Verse 9. And Boaz said unto the elders and unto all the people, ye are witnesses this day that I have brought Salakia, that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Chilion and Marlon's of the hand of Naomi.
10.
Verse 10. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, wife of Marlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day.
All right, so there you go now. That is how Ruth legally becomes Boaz's wife by the kinsman redeemer. Right? Had it been Naomi who was younger, then when they redeem is Naomi, they would have to go and have a child with to bring up a name unto Elimelech. But luckily for Naomi now, Ruth did not leave her side.
God.
So Ruth was not related to Boaz, but was in-law to Boaz.
God.
Right.
Okay, God.
Continue.
Another one can. Verse 11. And all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel. And do thou worthily in Ephratah, and be famous in Bethlehem.
Right. So they get the blessings of the people. 12.
Another one can. Verse 12. And let thy house be like the house of Pharez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, of the seed which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman.
All right. So marrying in those days was not for fun. You marry a woman to get her pregnant. You don't marry her if she go take birth control and tell about I have what they love say? I what? They have control over them body. It's them control them body. Them decide when they want to have a child. They have the right to choose. That's what I was trying to remember. I have the right to choose. Yeah, they have a right to choose. All right, continue.
Another one can.
13.
Verse 13. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, the Lord gave her conception, and she bare a son.
Right. So the Bible have its way of, in our law, or you say a man go sleep with a woman, he go in unto her.
Okay.
Right. And they get a son. 14.
Another one can. Verse 14. And the women said unto Naomi, Blessed be the Lord, which has not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel.
All right. So I brought up earlier where the Lord say he will scatter us in all nations. So the scattering begin from the time of the judges, because Ruth was not mentioned as a Moabite. She was called a Moabitess and a Moabitish woman. Just like saying a Jewish man, or I say something look whitish, right? Meaning it just have a resemblance of also. But she, being a Moabitish woman, was actually an Israelite who was born in the land of Moab, living the life of the Moabites. So she was serving their God. She had their custom, just like how all of us basically in the world. How much of the 12 tribes have the custom of the Israelite? None. That is why we are called Jamaican, Trinidadian, Barbadian, American, Brazilian, Antiguan, you name it, because we are now ish.
God.
I understand. We're going into other custom, but it was the Lord's way of punishing us for not keeping his laws. And this is something you won't fully understand unless you are in the back into the Israelite custom. Put on a beautiful garment. Start learning back your culture, so you can understand. When you read these things, being in a culture, you can understand how it flows. Right. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 15. And he shall be unto thee a restorer of thy life, and a nourisher of thine old age. For thy daughter-in-law, which loveth thee, which is better to thee than 7 sons, has borne him. Verse 16. And Naomi took the child and laid it in her bosom, and became nurse unto it.
Yeah, man, Naomi take this child now like it's hers. Who got the child, basically? It was Naomi. Naomi told Ruth how to look a man and be decent about it. Don't flaunt yourself like a whore. Don't flaunt yourself like today what we would say Lego beast, right? Look the man, get the man, and be a good woman. Still remain a good woman. And that's what she did. She learned from Ruth. from Naomi. Ruth learned from Naomi. Right? So you see, when we lose the culture, the things that we're left with. That is why the young girl them, the older woman them can't guide them much about. They can only tell them how to be a decent word. Unless you come back into a culture, you don't really get the understanding how to be a man, how to be a woman. Because Boaz, if it was a man like today, when him roll over and him and him wine and him see this, right? So Boaz went about it the decent way, because you know that you are supposed to be this woman's kinsman redeemer. She wasn't related to you, but the husband was, right? So he performed his duty as the kinsman redeemer and get Ruth as his wife. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 17. And the women, her neighbors, gave it a name, saying, there is a son born to Naomi, and they call his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David.
All right. So this is the importance of the story, the storyline. This son that came out of the relation between Naomi and Ruth became the father of who? David. And David was what? King.
David, God.
Right. And David being king became the father or grandfather, great-grandfather of who?
Of YAHANNA.
Exactly. Of the man that we call Jesus in the Bible.
God.
All right. Read on.
Another one can. Verse 18. Now these are the generations of Pharez. Pharez begot Ezran. Verse 19. And Ezran begot Ram, and Ram begot Aminadab. Verse 20. And Aminadab begot Nahshon, and Nahshon begot Salmon. Verse 21. And Salmon begot Boaz, and Boaz begot Obed. Verse 22. And Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David.
Right. So this is the lineage of Christ.
God.
This is the lineage of Christ. All right. Now give me Leviticus 25. Leviticus chapter 25. All right, let's go from about 23.
Another one can. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 23. The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, for ye are strangers and sojourners with me.
24.
Verse 24. And in all the land of your possession, ye shall grant a redemption for the land.
All right, so this redemption is the redeeming. So every land, this is also a law that the land, you can sell a land, but you can sell land, but it's not sold forever. Every 50 years, the land go back to its rightful owner.
God.
So it's not sold forever. So in other words, when you sell a land, if this is the year of Jubilee and you sell the land next year, that person have 49 years to use the land.
God.
When they buy that land from you, if you want it, suppose 10 years, 20 years after you sell it, things turn around with you and you say, "Want about my land." He has to sell it to you.
God.
So you calculate the amount of years that would left back before Jubilee, and you would pay him that money. So that is the redemption for the land. Continue.
Canada 1 can. Verse 25. If thy brother be waxing poor and has sold away some of his possession, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which is his brother, that which his brother sold.
Mm-hmm.
Verse
Right.
20.
So, come on. Where am I? Leviticus 1, 21.
25 and 26.
Right. So if the brother becomes poor and had to sell him land, and then if any of his kin, which is the next of kin, which is the kinsman, which is what the law that Boaz know. That is why Boaz talk to Naomi about kin. So I am a kinsman to you, but there is one that is closer to you than me. I go and talk to him. If he will not redeem you, then I will leave.
Okay.
All right. 26.
Canada 1 can, verse 26. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, verse 27, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession.
Thank you. That is what I just explained. You count the number of years that, all right, you say, all right, this would have 10 years to use it before it goes to Jubilee. So I have to pay him for that 10 years there.
Okay.
You understand? So if the next of kin, if the kinsman redeemer cannot redeem the land and you can redeem it yourself, you can do it. 28.
Canada 1 can, verse 28. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that has bought it until the year of Jubilee. And in the Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return unto his possession.
All right. So if you don't have nobody to redeem it, then it have to stay with the man who did buy it until Jubilee.
Okay.
And then it goes back to you. So it would come back to Naomi, but God knows how long. You understand? And they would need it now to live. So God will leave it for them and marry Ruth and a son who is now heir, or that son now becomes, what's it again? That son becomes, well, now is the possessor for that land. That portion that was redeemed.
Okay.
Right. That was what that was what, 28?
28, cancer.
All right. All right. Now there is also
Salakia,
yeah,
no.
I'm listening. Is there something?
No, Salakia, sir. I think you did want to go to the book of Samuel.
Oh, I go to let me see if this one up. Redeeming the slave. That was about are the judgments which thou shalt set before them, though by an Hebrew servant. Alright, go to Exodus 20.
Say that again, sir.
Exodus 20.
I said, lucky, yeah, break up.
Exodus 21.
Okay, gone, sir. Canada one can.
All right, read from 1.
Canada one can. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 1. Now these are the judgment which thou shalt set before them. Verse 2. If thou buy an Hebrew servant 6 years, he shall serve. And in the 7th year, Slakia, in the 7th, he shall go out free for nothing.
Right. So the laws concerning slave, we had laws. This is what about I think it was more about Bible justified slavery. Yeah, these were people who work for you. This is money that are involved, you know.
God.
Right? So you buy a man who is an Hebrew, you buy your own man, your own Hebrew man as slavery. Then you had to pay, oh sorry, him serve only 7 years. Don't really matter how much you pay for him. It's 7 years him served for.
God.
After 7 years, he's free. But I'm searching for the law where it said, that you could, all right, let me see if we can find it. Where you can buy back a person out of slavery. Because the kinsman redeemer does not only apply to property.
God.
This is something that is in our law.
You talk verse chapter 25, 44, where it says, both thy bondmen and thy bondmaid which thou shalt have shall be of the Eden. You know that.
Which book is that?
See Leviticus, sir. No, this is Leviticus, Slakia. Say that again.
Which book is it in?
Leviticus chapter 25 and start at 44.
Same 25.
Can, sir.
Let me see. Start at what? 44.
44. Can.
Yeah, this look like it.
Can.
Right, go to 40. And if I sojourn in Australia, wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwelleth by him wax poor. Yeah, read 47. No, come down to, no, read 40. 48. And 49.
Canada one can.
48 and 49. Right?
Can, sir. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 40. After that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brethren may redeem him. Verse 49. Either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any that is nigh of kin unto him, of his family may redeem him, or if he be able, he may redeem himself.
Right. Just like the land. Somebody, your next of kin can read, you can have a kinsman redeemer, or if you have money, you can redeem yourself. However, go to Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Canada one can. Canada one can. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
All right.
By the way,
so this is telling you that we're going to slavery again, servitude, house of bondage again. This time his ship is going to take you. Continue.
Canada one can. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
All right. So the land where Moses was telling us this, we ain't going to see that place again. Continue.
Canada one can. Canada one can. And there he shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
So that band there is referring to what we just read in Leviticus 25.
Cancer.
49. We tell about the uncle or one that is near of kin can buy you back out of servitude. You can buy yourself. But here, this is telling you that nobody now go buy you out of this slavery that you are going into. All right. So Ruth's story ties into this, which we are going into today, about because it was the kinsman redeemer. And who is the kinsman redeemer now? It said, no man shall buy you. However, so even though no man can buy you, that means that's the end of everything. Go to Isaiah 52.
Slakia, Isaiah how much?
52.
15?
5:2.
Okay, gone, sir.
Verse 2 and 3.
Canada one can. Canada one can. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 52, verse 2. Shake thyself from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion.
All right. Captive daughter of Zion, that is us.
God.
We are the children of Zion, and we are in captivity. So from the time of Isaiah, the Most High will shake ourselves from the dust, arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Verse 3.
Canada one can, verse 3. For thus saith the Lord, ye have sold yourself for naught, and ye shall be redeemed without money.
How did we sell ourselves? We start breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. What did we get for doing? What did we get for doing that? Nothing.
God.
Look at us today. We are in the condition we are in now because we have broke the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High from the time of Moses coming all the way down, not listening. We listen for 10 years, we listen for 20 years, we listen for 40 years. and then we don't listen again.
God.
The generation gone into something else. Right, because we keep on following after other nations and their gods.
God.
Right? In the same way now that some is telling that the Bible is outdated, you can follow other things. It's the same way back in them times. Tell you can follow other customs because it sound good and it made them rich.
God.
So it will make all rich. And what it did, put all of us in slavery. So what did we gain when we sell ourselves? Nothing. We have sold ourselves for naught. We have finished it. It was finished.
Cancer. Yeah, that was it.
Ye have redeemed. We sell ourselves for naught, but we shall be redeemed without money. To Matthew 1:21.
Another one can.
So in the same way that Ruth's husband sold his land to leave the country to go into the land of Moab because of a famine. It's the same way we sell ourselves, but at least in the case of money, we get nothing.
God.
We gone into slavery. Abimelech, next kinsmen bought, but redeemed the lands that Naomi had and restored back unto her and Ruth. Who is going to restore us? All right. Matthew 1:21.
Another one can. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 1:21. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Jesus, or YAHANNA, for he shall save his people from their sins.
All right. So if you notice, redeeming in our laws, a stranger can redeem you. Redemption has to come from within your line. Right? So
God.
somebody who is not related to you cannot redeem you. So this is why now it was important for Christ to come through the line of the king, the line of the kingship, who would have the authority over all Israel, and was also the bloodline of an Israelite, to be the redeemer for us from this captivity that we are in. Every captivity that we find ourselves in, we had to have a redeemer. From the time of the judges, coming all the way down, there was a redeemer, right? Even when it named the time of the Babylonian captivity, Cyrus was the one who granted liberty. But read the story in the books that they took from the Bible, that captivity was granted from an Israelite who was a guard, one of the king's bodyguards, who persuaded the king to do it. King didn't just get up and do it anymore. All right. So here, it's prophesied that Romans 3:23. So, yeah.
Wi-Fi chip out a while ago. Slack.
Romans 3.
Romans 3.
Yes, 23 to 24.
Another one can.
This is how you know that all the Christian tell you that Christ died for everyone and so on. It don't go like that.
God.
Because the Bible show you the lineage of the redemption. It tell about David from the book of Ruth. Tell about David. Then you come down to Matthew 1 and it give you the lineage of Christ coming from David all the way down. The story of Ruth is about redemption. And Christ,
God.
who is son of Obed, Ruth's son. Ruth was born into the land of Moab, practicing Moab custom, but was an Israelite because he was termed a Moabitish woman and not a Moabite, right? So he was one. She was one who was living in the land of Moab, living and practicing Moab custom, worshiping Moab God, knowing nothing about Israelite, just like we today. So that's the importance of that story for today. Because we are like Ruth today. We don't know nothing about them Israelite custom. If it wasn't for one West, it would have still been lost. Maybe by now, the second wave of slavery would have started. I think today what I was talking about look like the reviving Cain. But Cain to the other nation was what? Was wealth. Cain to us was what?
Slavery.
Oppression, slavery. Right? Cain is not a good name for us. It's just like the one who killed Abel to us. Redemption comes from kinsmen, it's only kinsmen redeemed. No law, we don't have any law that allows stranger to redeem anything. You ready?
Can, sir. Another one can. This is the book of Romans, chapter 3, verse 23. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Verse 24. Being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Christ, YAHANNA Mashiach Salakia.
Right. That's redemption. Because Christ is bloodline of an Israelite.
God.
So only him could have redeemed. He was the one who I don't want to survive, but proved himself to be the redeemer at this time.
God.
Every other judge and every other prophet failed. You read the Bible, every single one coming all the way down did something to break the law at some point, while Christ, in all the time that he was on earth, lived the law to show us that you cannot live the law and don't break the law. Right. Give me now Romans 6 and 15.
Another one can. This is the book of Romans, chapter 6, verse 15. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? God forbid.
All right. So because Boaz restored the land unto Ruth and at no cost to them, should they live freely and carelessly and lose it? God forbid. So Christ has redeemed us from the punishment of the law. So because we are not under the punishment of the law, should we continue to sin? Because somebody paid a price to take the punishment for us, should we continue to sin? God forbid. In the same way, if Naomi get careless after Boaz redeeming, she going to lose the land. If we get careless, we might just lose the key. As a matter of fact, kill God or kill me because in promise it unto the Israelites. Promise it unto the one Israelite it promised unto by name, and it's Christ. Everybody else, you have to work for it. Prove yourself. Find the truth. Put on the garment, which is your culture. Come back in your culture. Learn the law, statutes, and commandments again. Right? And know that Christ has redeemed you from the punishment of sin. Take me to Revelation 5 and 5.
Another one can. Another one can. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 5, verse 5. And one of the elders saith unto me, Weep not. Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof.
All right. The root of David. And David start mentioned from root, because root was about redemption. And Christ, all the way down to Revelation, is about redemption. And who is he talking about? Root is talking about who? The Israelite. Root, one person, two women, but the great grandfather of the Redeemer to come started there, right? Which is why that book made it to the Bible. That's the importance. In Revelation, that Obed's great grandson, named YAHANNA, he was the one who come prevail from the lineage of David. And why the Bible says prevail? If you know that, if you read the history, 70 AD, when the Romans invaded Jerusalem and overthrew Jerusalem, they hunt down all of the offspring of David. All who them find was David's descendants, kill them out. Why? Because no man must not come back and say, I am the root of David and I'm going to come into set up at the throne in Jerusalem. So they hunt down the root, David offspring, kill them out. Hunt down where the high priest come from again, Aaron's, hunt down Aaron's offspring, kill them out. So here in book of Revelation, they could use the word prevail. Because they kill out all of the, who today can say they are the root of David? Are they come from David lineage? None. Who can say they come from Aaron's lineage? None. The Romans kill them out. But Christ, because his resurrection and his departure before Roman invasion, he prevailed, right? And he was the one who prevailed to lose the 7 seals and mash up Babylon. And with that, pass the class to Priest and Officer Kayadwan.
All right, clap it up. These are the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And the commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limit for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the word. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in Numbers 18 and 21, and Malachi 3 verse 8 to 10. Means 10 in the Hebrew and is pronounced by Aishara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming holy convocation is the the memorial of the blowing of the trumpet. This is the first day of the 7th month. This will be held on Monday, the 6th of September this year. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Reminding Akyam and Akwatiam to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he needs to start wearing all black, which include black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. With that, we say a margin, which means to stand. Sarah Lapanya Akwadam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. And then in English, Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabashamayam.
Shabashamayam.
Kwadash.
Kwadash.
Aya.
Aya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahawa.
Yahawa.
Malakwatka.
Malakwatka.
Tabaha.
Tabaha.
Ratazaka. Aya.
Aya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Barataza.
Barataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Aya.
Aya.
Bashamayam.
Bashamayam.
Nafananawa.
Nafananawa.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Kal.
Kal.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalaklanawa.
Wasalaklanawa.
Kawabwatnawa.
Kawabwatnawa.
Kasalatnawa.
Kasalatnawa.
Kawabwatyanawa.
Kawabwatyanawa.
Wala.
Wala.
Kabaayanawa.
Bayanawa.
Banasayawan.
Banasayawan.
Aban.
Aban.
Awashainawa.
Awashainawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Amalakwat.
Amalakwat.
Waala.
Waala.
Watapara.
Wataparat.
La Aiwalamyam.
Aiwalamyam.
Aman.
Aman. In English, our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Oh, for the cursed. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen that speak against us.
To the heathens that speak against us.
Thy prophets.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
Teachers.
The princes.
Princes.
The priests.
The priests. The Israelite
brothers and the school.
The Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the
heathen.
And shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel.
And shake loose the treasures of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into the sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
And the nations.
And their drug dealers.
And their drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
Prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
all the governments of our enemies,
all the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
the Pope,
Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
militia,
Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
Aryan Nation,
Skinheads,
Skinheads,
Pasikomitazi,
Pasikamatazi,
the gay movement,
gay movement,
the lesbian movement,
lesbian movement,
spies,
spies,
workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
NASA space programs,
NASA space program,
Army,
Army,
Navy,
Navy,
Air Force,
Air Force,
Marines,
Marines,
Wall Street,
Wall Street,
open up the internet
open up the internet
and the airways,
and the airways,
the cable access channels,
cable access channels,
and the radio channels.
and the radio channels.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people
Convict the spirit of any of thy people
that seek to stop us
that seek to stop us
and bring swift destruction
and bring swift destruction
to all the Eden
to all the Edens
that stand in the way
that stand in the way
or try to stop us from broadcasting your word
or try to stop us from broadcasting your words
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues,
Let loose all the plagues,
cause them to go to and fro
cause them to go to and fro
through the
earth
and consume them.
and consume them.
Let the plague shake
Let the plagues shake
the house of the thief and the murderer.
the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let YAHANNA,
Let YAHANNA,
Michael and Gabriel
Michael and Gabriel
come down with the flying saucers
come down with the flying saucers
and punish all the Edens
and punish all the Edens
that come up against us
that come up against us
as we speak thy word.
as we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known by all
Cause it to be known by all
that it is the angels that hath done it.
that it is the angels that has done it.
Cause it to be spread through media,
Cause it to be spread through the media,
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you always so be.
Thank you, always so be it. All right, this is the prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai.
Baba Kosha.
Baba Kosha.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Akak.
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 Larapa.
Larapa.
Kalmakala.
Kalmakala.
Wakalmadawa.
Wakalmadawa.
Akak.
Akak.
Lata'ar.
Latahar.
Amatazariam.
Amatazariam.
Akak.
Akak.
Lahakwayam. Amatayam.
Amatayam.
Akak.
Akak.
Irakawat.
Irakawat.
Atamala.
Atamala.
Lagarshan.
Lagarshan.
Ba'asham Yahushai.
Ba'asham Yahushai.
Tawara Aman.
Tawara Aman. Now in the name of Yahushai.
Yahweh in the name of Yahushai.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
Power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
Cast them out in the name of Yahushai.
Cast them out in the name of Yahushai.
Thank you, so be.
Thank you.
Yes, Israel.
Slakia, sir. Give me a second. All right, this is the prayer for the blessing in the Hebrew. Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai.
Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai.
Barak Lanawa.
Barak Lanawa.
Wayasharala.
Wayasharala.
Waha.
Waha.
Bayat Sapariam.
Bayat Sapariam.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapa'a.
Rapa.
Magan.
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 Commanding General YAHANNA.
Commanding General YAHANNA.
Generals.
The generals.
Captains.
Captains.
The officers.
The officers.
Troopers and the sisters.
The troopers, the young men.
The troopers, the young men.
The troopers, the young men.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Ba'Hashem Yahushai.
Ba'Hashem Yahushai.
Toward our man.
Toward our man. What we just said is, Lord, in the name of Jesus, which is Yahushai, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones in the name of Yahushai. Thank you so much.
All right, sir, which means to turn. We're going to give one courteous salute to the teacher and men of Israel. Amajum Shabbat. Amajum Barak. Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Barakatah.
Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Barakatah.
Yaramata, we're going to turn and face the sisters. We're going to give one courteous salute to the sister. Men of Israel. Amajum Shabbat.
Yeah.
Amajum. Barak.
Put close. Put together.
Yahweh Shamar Ailatan Ba'Hashem Yahushai.
Yahweh Shamar Ailatan Ba'Hashem Yahushai. And you salute to the right hand. Right hand. Yeah. Yes. Yadamata means hands down. Class is me. Close. In this time of the pandemic, where COVID-19 has crippled the world economies, where our government has ordered nationwide shutdown, where hospitals are overwhelmed.
Shortly after, the unthinkable happened.
I was literally stunned and frozen.
And their religious leaders are proven to be frauds. Where do you go to get all your questions answered and to hear what God has to say about this matter? You can only find the answers in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General YAHANNA. We give you scriptural breakdowns of world events and the up and coming world war. We will show you in the Bible where the children of Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans today, would suffer slavery in Jamaica, Caribbean, North, Central, and South America, and other parts of the world. We will show you in the Bible where God said he would send plagues upon the earth before he frees people from this captivity.
The World Health Organization has declared coronavirus a global pandemic.
We will give you the true teaching of the Bible, precept upon precept. To learn more, subscribe today. Call the number in the description for I.S.U.P.K Jamaica. Shalom.